So it's activity 4. We've built our register page. Now we're going to quickly build our login page. So I've got my register page open. I'm going to go and create a new PHP file. I'll change my title to say login. And I'll save this in my week 6 folder. As login.php. So it's gonna be similar to our register page. So we do want our Bootstrap links. So I'm gonna grab those out of my header. I'll grab my Bootstrap CSS and my JavaScript. We'll copy those. We'll paste them into our header. Then we're going to want to put on a main section inside our body. Put on a main, and we'll give it a class of container the same way we did on our register form. And we'll put on an H1 here that says login. Now we'll create a form. It's going to be pretty similar to our register page. Now we could just copy and paste the register form because we're still kind of getting in the practice of building forms. I think it's a good idea that we actually code it manually with HTML. So we'll create a form. We'll set up our 2 typical attributes. Method is post. We don't want to use get because we don't want the username and password showing up in the address bar. And our action is going to be validate.php. We'll build that page after. It's going to be the page that will check usernames and passwords when people try to log in. So we'll put on a couple of field sets, and we'll give them a class of form group. We'll add a bit of padding so they're not pushed up right against each other. Inside our first field set, we'll put on a label for username. And again, we'll use Bootstrap to make sure our 2 labels are the same width. That way our text boxes will align vertically. So we use call small 2. We'll put on a text box. Username, and we'll say that it is required. Actually, rather than username, we'll put our prompt here to say email. Because that's what we did on our register page. When someone signs up, they have to use an email address as their username. We'll put on a second field set. Another label with the same class for password. We don't need a confirm password here. This is our login box. Password is required. And our type is password because we don't want the characters to be visible to anybody looking over our user shoulder as they're trying to log into the screen. And lastly, we've got a button. So I'll put on a button. I don't actually need the type equals submit. That's our default. My button can just say log in. So there's our form. We'll save that. I already have a copy of this running up on the web server, so we can have a look at it. So here's our simple login page: heading, username, password, and our green login button. And here again is our completed code, our Bootstrap, CSS and JavaScript, as well as our HTML form.